Hey there, All Things MSP crew. Welcome back to another vendor update here from All Things MSP. Now, we have not a vendor today, so that's kind of cool. We have another community here today, and one that's been around for a long time in this industry. I know it was around when I was an MSP, and so that makes it old, but you know, sometimes the old things are the best, and they have evolved just like the rest of this industry. And I think they do a really good job of it. So join me in welcoming Jerry from ASCII.
Eric, how you doing?
I'm
Glad to
doing
be here.
great. How about yourself?
Excellent.
Yeah, it's been a busy week, but January is starting out really, really well. I'm excited about everything that's going on in this industry. And I know that you guys are doing a lot to kind of revamp and do new things this year. So we're going to talk about those things because I think those are really exciting to talk about. But this is actually the first time you and I have had a chance to do this on All Things MSP. So
Yeah, you're right.
we have a lot of, we have over 6,000 people in the Facebook group now. And I'm sure that there's at least one or two that probably doesn't know what ASCII is. So let's go ahead and start with that.
Wonderful. So, Eric, I do appreciate the time. Obviously, you guys have a wonderful community. I love what you're doing. So I do appreciate being here. And obviously, for everyone listening, we do appreciate what everyone does for the industry because it is a tough industry to be in. So everybody's probably heard about ASCII. If you haven't, it's a great organization. But the net of it is that we're really a tight-knit community of seasoned IT professionals that are working together to solve problems from a business perspective, tech perspective, and everything in between. And that's a lot to sort of absorb. But when it comes down to it, we have your back, and our members work together in such a capacity that it's a brotherhood, for lack of a better word. So our community is a tight-knit network. Members pay a fee to join access to that network. We provide them benefits that range from marketing support to tax support, as well as a variety of other sort of perks that members receive from the vendor community. But what it comes down to it's a business network that you can rely on to get stuff done. And that could be leveraging us to solve a problem. We just solved the problem for a particular member that was having issues with Microsoft, to helping the members connect either in this country or abroad on projects. And, we are very fluid in how we operate as a community. So we try not to gum up the works. We don't take transaction fees between what the members are doing with each other, or in terms of acquisitions that might happen between one particular member of the group and somebody else. So it's free flowing. We have a vendor free community board that it's all over the place, from tech to business to everything in between. But if you all wrap that up, it's all about relationships. And it's basically building that into something where you can go, oh, you know what? I know this person. He can help me out, and they are willing to do it. Or I need advice from this person. Even though they may be 30 miles away, they're willing to work with you. And that's sort of the fabric of what ASCII has been and where we are going in the future.
And I think some of that gets lost in the events because you guys put on some really good events as well. And it's those other benefits that are really of a material importance to the MSP when it comes to that network, because so many MSPs are relatively small, right? I mean, that's just the nature of this business. A lot of times because of the SMBs that they serve, right? It's just easier for them to be local, and it's just been that way forever. I think we are maturing as an industry, and I kind of hate to use that word, mature, because it implies an immaturity someplace else. And I don't think that's really a good word to use to describe it. But we are growing in size of, certain MSPs. But, you guys gave me the opportunity this past year to join a local event that you were doing. It was handled here at a local bar here in Raleigh. And we actually did our first All Things MSP live stream remote. The first one we've ever done wirelessly remote. Did it actually from my cell phone from the Raleigh Beer Garden. And really want to thank you for doing that. And want to kind of do that as a segue into the event side of things, because I think that's another side that is maybe more fun, but also is something that gives benefit to your members.
No, absolutely. So we do 8 events in North America, one in Toronto, and the rest in sort of NFL cities, for lack of a better word. And that information, to just throw a plug out there, is events.ascii.com. But the purpose of the event is an outreach for us to talk to our members. So we have private member meetings, but also to really educate the industry on where we think uh, our service industry is going to go and what we need to prepare for. So we have great vendor support for the events. And like you said, a lot of people think of us only on the event side, like, oh, you guys are event business. Well, no, we're a community. We do events on the side. That's what it comes down to. So for us, at least, it's a good way for us to maintain the relationships with our members and obviously allow them to interact in a sort of meaningful way in terms of that environment, and allow them to tell us what's going on. And I think the most important thing for everybody, regardless if you're in a community or not, is we have to understand where this industry is going, and we have to be prepared. And I think the next 5 years are going to be probably, I'm trying to figure out the right word for this, okay? A challenge be one way to describe it. But I also look at it as a huge opportunity. And I think that we need to prepare the industry for this change. And I think it's going to be a pretty significant jump for the majority of the industry, and we just have to be prepared for it. So I'm kind of segueing into the events with that, because a lot of the content that we have this year at the event is addressing certain things related to that. So we think soft skills is going to be absolutely necessary in terms of moving your business forward. And the majority of the industry, unfortunately, is aging out a bit. And I think that, we went from obviously break fix to MSP, and that was, a complementary transition. This next transition is not so complementary. And I think that hopefully people will stick with it and not sort of raise their hands up in the air and go, I don't think I want to pivot this way because this is not as clean as the last pivot I did. But I think we can do it together as an industry. So, we have an AI committee that we're working with right now within the membership, and things I talked about in January of 2024, no, February 2024, when I was talking about this idea of where things are going, about half the audience agreed and half said you're wrong. And I can tell you today, that's probably changed. If I went to poll that audience, probably about 90% would agree at this point, because it is happening. So it's exciting times for everybody in our industry. And I think that we just have to prepare and make sure that, we don't miss this, probably one of the biggest opportunities for our industry, without a doubt. Way bigger than what I consider in terms of managed services long term, in terms of really delivering high value, very sticky to the client in terms of real solutions and not just the stack. It's way beyond the stack.
Agreed. I think we are definitely in a position where we're moving away from just strictly outsourced IT services. I think that'll always be a component of it, but we are driving more towards what I typically call the virtual CTO type of role, because it's not about virtual CIO as much anymore, because that's really the outsourced IT, right? Because CIO is the manager of the IT, whereas the CTO is, how do I go out, look at new technologies, bring them into this business to actually solve problems that are going to reduce cost, reduce risk, add to revenue, and increase profits.
Absolutely. So just off that point, so it was like last week, okay? And so everyone's hearing about the whole hubbub about DeepSeek, the China AI,
Yep.
that undercut Open AI at the legs. And they're still deciphering like what is really going on behind the scenes. So one of our members posted a project about AI. And I saw, I'm like, okay, it's happening. And in our committee, it's happening. We're hearing projects and what have you. But I actually spent some time to really dig at that post. And it was about DeepSeek. The client was asking the MSP, like, look, this is what and again, I'll bring this up. The client, I just thought about this. The client was asking, why is the client asking? That's what everybody needs to have at top of mind. The client shouldn't ask. We need to present to the client. Look, let's look at the bottlenecks. Let's figure out how we can truly optimize your business. It's a different conversation. I know by even saying that, people are going to go, hey, Jerry, you're not in my shoes. Okay. It's chaotic for us right now. We're trying to manage staff. We're trying to make sure that we're holding on to people, and we're barely trying to keep it together and grow. I get that, but you have to understand that that conversation is going to be super important for you to have now as you're learning these other technologies. So we are on the event side, Eric. We have Microsoft that executives are coming with an A team that are doing workshops to talk about Copilot and everything in between. And we ask them, say, listen, we don't want the Microsoft deck. We want you to do training. We want you to talk to these people, show them where there's opportunities and what have you. And, we're looking at ways that we can connect our community with resources that already understand this stuff and allowing sort of the speed of working together, because I really feel that this is happening now and no one's talking about it because people are making money. I talked to one MSP and he goes, this is going to be my best year ever. And he looked at me and I looked at him. He doesn't want people to know. And so I'm just like, okay, I get it. It's happening. And it's this silent opportunity that people are having. And a lot of people are on the sidelines right now in our industry completely. It's completely unfortunate.
Yeah, I agree, because people are sticking to what they know and they're not looking for those new opportunities. And, to me, technology just changes too quickly for us to rest on what we did yesterday. It's very different from the rest of the world, kind of in that way, where things tend to move a little more slowly.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. I mean, it's a
So,
great industry, and I love, and I'm a geek at heart. I love technology. I mean, I just love it. And when I started looking at programming language on a TRS-80, it's like love. It's just like my Commodore 64. I wish I still had that thing, even though it
yeah,
was slower than molasses. Uh, it and to be in this industry and to see the people working in it, it's such a wonderful thing. And I think that I truly appreciate that. I know that our team really reflects on that in terms of what our community has done, what our industry has done, even during COVID. And we don't have the respect that I think this industry deserves still. Okay. But it's a great industry. So I think that this challenge that we have in front of us, it is something that we can tackle together. And I think that we'll pivot. I mean, ultimately, we will pivot and actually go after it, because it's just we're in the best position to do it. Absolutely.
yeah. Now, let's get away from events for a minute, because there is so much more to ASCII than just the events. What have you guys added in 2024 to help your partners?
Yeah. So we're the timing of this conversation is great. So this week we actually released a new member portal. I know when I say portal, everyone's like, "Oh my God, I have so many vendor dashboards I have to manage." Are you saying you guys got one too? Oh, forget about it. Okay. Totally understand. Totally understand. But what's unique about us, going back to what I said earlier, our members do business with each other. Okay. So there's the ability for you to really enhance the opportunity of grabbing business with people all across North America, and also leveraging that network to get business done. And typically, what's been happening before, I hate to say it, but we're very customer service oriented. So my team is very much like, no automation, No automation at all. We want to talk to the customer. I get it. I totally understand it. But um, we're going to have to figure out a better way to do this. So we've had thousands easily of subcontracting work go through our team to members. The rest of the membership doesn't know about it because it's very specific. I need somebody in St. Louis. Here is the job opportunity. Well, that's going to change. So we provided a really, really clean, modern sort of business development tool for the group to leverage. So now you got the team, the community is literally going to light it on fire. They're going to go in there, profile themselves, share different authorizations they may have, look at peer opportunities our team is providing, connect with marketing tools like free email newsletters, social media management, what have you, but most importantly, business, and allow them to leverage it and just go. And we're looking forward to it. And along those lines, a lot of the problems that we solve are very personal with the membership. So most of the people don't even know that we even solved the problem that was worth $10,000 for an MSP. Well, now, in confidence, that information will be shared where we'll show problems that are pending, problems that are resolved, the value of those problems, and what have you. And again, a lot of people are probably hearing this for the first time because they think, oh, ASCII is an event business. Oh, ASCII is that company that at one point saved you money at distribution. Just like everybody's evolved, we have been evolving, and we probably do a disservice in terms of not really sharing the full story of ASCII. But I can tell you this: it's pretty wonderful to see sort of the reaction of the community to what we just launched, and looking forward to seeing the real activity on the site.
So for the average MSP, it sounds like ASCII is almost like that business partner that's going to fill some of the gaps that you don't have in your business just by being part of this peer network. And then in addition to that, it's a marketplace where they can sometimes come in and get this subcontract work to augment their existing business.
Absolutely, absolutely, and so from a even beyond that too, is that if I am seeking to acquire a particular company, I can go into the system now and see profiles of businesses that are seeking to be acquired and confidentially reach out to them and make that connection. We don't take any of the transaction. Again, we're not trying to gum up this network that we truly believe in. But off of what you said, Eric, it is this sort of tool that if I'm seeking to do something, I can get it done quickly. And you don't have to wait to talk to our wonderful team about it, which they still are a little bit disgruntled about. But when it comes down to it, if I need somebody in Spokane for a specific job, or if I just ran into a major deal that requires AutoCAD and I'm not authorized, you can actually get connected quickly without us intervening. We're just going to allow you to say, okay, here's the person. That's who I need. Let me talk to them. Get the deal done. On to the next thing. So again, speed of doing business is big in our industry. So we're looking forward to it. We're just so happy that this came out now, and as we lead into the event series to talk more about it.
Awesome, Jerry. Well, it sounds like ASCII is really evolving to meet the needs of the MSP industry. And we look forward to all the new stuff that you guys do. And of course, some of those great events this year.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I appreciate what you do. I know we're all sort of working hard in the industry, and it's for the love of the game, for lack of a better phrase. But the big thing is that we're all in this together. So if you're not in the community, regardless of ASCII, get involved somewhere, get a network together, and leverage it because it is important. Many people don't feel that, oh, I'm missing a community in my stack. They don't.
Yeah.
It's not like that. But it is something that once you start really getting the benefit of talking to people and leveraging the network, it will come in handy when you need it the most. Bottom line.
Well, and I think both you and I know how valuable it can be to have that peer network as part of not your tech stack, but part of your business stack is what I would call it.
Absolutely. No, you hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. So, Eric, I can tell you this: that it's probably one of the hardest things for people to really absorb. Some people get it like that; they totally understand it. But some people easily relate stuff like, "Oh, this is like a chamber of commerce, and I had a bad experience there. It wasn't really that productive." It is light years from any of that. This is a network of people working together, and we are trying to help each other out. So it's just that's basically it. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
So, Jerry, if they want to find out more, where do they go?
Absolutely. Go to ASCII.com and love to talk to you. I know Lynn Williams is part of the community team. And if you need to reach out to her, just reach out to Lynn at ASCII.com. If you have any questions for me, I'm JK at ASCII.com. But again, really appreciate it, Eric. And again, we love this industry and we really appreciate uh, people that are in it and what they're doing to help businesses, without a doubt.
Thank you, Jerry, and thank you for joining me today.
Thanks, Eric.